Hello everyone, and welcome to a unboxing video of Secret Garden. Again, I'm trying to keep the Riftbound channel a little bit more active and exciting lately. So we've been updating a little bit more. This video is sponsored by Packs.com, who's sponsored some of the stuff in the past on this channel. And we'll be opening a couple of packs, or maybe even just one on their site at the end of this video, so you can stick around for that. You can check them out in the description if you would like to see what they're about, and you can use my code, which is super helpful. But I had a friend of mine who went to Gen Con pick up two of these for me. One of them I gave as a gift to my girlfriend for our anniversary, and and she really liked it. I only saw sort of half of the unboxing, so we're gonna go ahead and do one now. I don't know how many of these there are on YouTube yet, but I will say the box feels very nice. She gave it a rave review, and I gotta say it's quite nice. It feels very premium. So I'm very used to like the Riftbound vaults, or even in Magic, like the bundles. From what I understand, like ETBs, which are Elite Trainer boxes in Pokemon, are pretty favored in terms of them just feeling like a premium experience, and that's what this feels like. There are two postcards in here. I always found postcards to be a strange type of collectible. I don't really value them much in this situation, but they're kind of cool, and I'm sure they're inexpensive to make. I don't know who I'm going to send a Ivern postcard to in the mail, but some people like them. And those float on top of what is the main attraction here, which is the three main promo cards that you get with this. And I gotta say, they are pretty beautiful. They come in these nice sleeves, so that are a little, they're fairly like hard, I guess I would say. They do a pretty good job of keeping the card safe from what I can tell, which is interesting. I'm now starting to think about how my content needs to be talking to people who want to grade cards, because that's something I'm not used to in the Magic space, but I know it's becoming more and more a thing in Pokemon, or in Riftbound, similar to Pokemon. And so I think it's good to note that these boxes seem to do a good job of keeping the card safe. There's a little bit of a bend or a warp to the card. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's actually not a little bit. It's a bit of a thing. And that happens usually due to humidity changes. So I believe these were packaged in components made in China, assembled in China. Booster packs are made in Japan. The promos and everything else are probably made in China. So that's the interesting thing, is when you're in TCG for a bit, you start to learn that the area in which the cards are printed has an impact on how likely they are to bend due to humidity changes, based off of where you're living. So there's a little bit, again, of a warp to the card, but besides that, I'll say the promo looks beautiful. These, I think, are going to be a little bit more approachable than maybe the over numbers will be, but we'll talk about whether or not they are worth it, and the value and the pricing, all that, in a little bit. The other thing that this packaging has that I want to mention before we reveal it is that it says that there's a Secret Garden alt art token promo pack with 5 cards in it, and 1 in 6 chance being foiled on the face. It's confusing to me, and Jade and I were trying to figure this out, if that means like the whole pack has a 1 in 6 chance, or each token has a 1 in 6 chance. But you can start to see the tokens here underneath, and we'll reveal this in a second. Here is our beautiful Lilia card. And I gotta say, you know, print quality issues happen with Riftbound, but the cards are so beautiful. They have a really nice texture to them. The foiling is intricate compared to other TCGs, where sometimes they're just throwing the foiling on there over the top as like an overall layer. And so they end up looking really, really beautiful. Again, you can see that this has some warp to it, which is unfortunate. But for those that don't know, you can actually sometimes unwarp your cards with like anti-humidity packs and stuff like that you can find. There's other YouTube videos that do a better job of explaining how it works compared to how I'm talking about it now. But just in case you end up having that issue, or you're worried that this is a one and done situation, once it's warped, it's done. No, actually, you can still figure out ways to do that. And then here is our third promo of this, which is this beautiful ultra soft Poro. And again, the art is beautiful. You know, it's not entirely my aesthetic, but I find I can still really, really enjoy how pretty this card is. The texture and the foiling and everything on it looks great. And then we do still have some of that warp, which you can maybe see a little bit easier if I hold it over the black surface of the top of the box. But that is the lineup of the 3 promos that you get in this. And now we go to the token pack, which I don't know how well you can see, but I know there's a little bit of reflection from my light. But on this side, it does not look foil. On this side, it also does not look foil. So there's a chance that my girlfriend, in the anniversary gift that I gave her, just high rolled getting foil tokens. What's interesting is when I went online to go look for non-foil versions of these, yeah, this is not foil. Okay, so she did get very lucky with that. And none of these are foil on either side. Okay, so I guess I just lost the 1 in 6 roll. So based off of what I'm seeing here, I believe that what happens is you have a 1 in 6 chance when you open one of these boxes for the whole pack to be foil or to not be foil. If anybody else has bought in these and has a different situation where like maybe I got really unlucky and all 5 of mine were non-foil, and maybe she got really lucky and all 5 of hers were, then leave a comment. But these are our tokens. They are double-sided. Here's a bird and a gold token, another gold token. The art, by the way, worth noting, is different between the 2 of them. Here's a brush token and another bird token. These 2 bird tokens are the same. And on the other side of these, we have 2 sprite arts, which are different. I don't understand why these bird tokens have the same art, but others that are replicated do not. But yeah, okay, well, good for her. She got foil. I hope if you're watching this and you end up getting one of these, you will end up getting that foil as well. These sleeves are really pretty, but I will say that much like all the Riftbound sleeves so far, they are just not very good. I don't know the best way to put it. They look really nice, and you can put your cards in them, but they will not probably shuffle as well as you would like. I know in Pokemon, a lot of people use like outer sleeves, I think. They're not terrible, okay? I will say they're not awful. I'm not trying to, I don't know, completely destroy these things. It's just like compared to like a Dragon Shield or an Ultimate Guard or something like that, they just feel not as premium, which is fine. I'm not trying to say that these are useless by any means. I'm sure for some people they really like them. I do like that they give you 2 different sets, which is kind of cool, especially in Riftbound where you have multiple decks with like your rune deck as well. Like it's kind of cool to have both of them, but you can pair these with the art of either. And I think what's also cool is that the sleeves also feature a more full version of the art. And again, it's really nice the way they've done the insert. And this box is so nice. Like I will probably end up using this box for something else. I'm sure for the time being it will store all of this. But you also get these 3 Unleashed packs. And up until a couple of weeks ago, I would have said, well, it's unfortunate that you're getting these 3 Unleashed packs. But as we've been talking about on the channel recently, there are a lot of things that are happening in the world of Riftbound, and cards are constantly going up in value, and so the packs are going up in value, and they're not printing them fast enough. And so here we are with some nice Unleashed packs that are worth more than they were a few weeks ago. In fact, these are up to $7. Whenever Unleashed came out, you couldn't sell this thing at MSRP if you were a store. I mean, I think you could maybe like the first weekend or whatever, but then it started dropping below 120, These packs started becoming worth less and less. And now I just looked at this video, or at this this stuff before this video, and discovered that these are up over $7 now. So that actually does help the value of the box. We've got a Katarina and a Void Wrecker and Void Reaver, Void Wrecker, and a Kha'Zix with the signature spell for Kha'Zix. That's kind of a fun theme pack. We'll go ahead and put those here, and then we'll open the last Unleash booster. So, is this box worth it? Well, it really depends on how much you're paying for it. So these, up until now, to my knowledge, have only been available in English at Gen Con 2026. And I saw that apparently lines to get them were dramatic. In fact, they had to cancel some fan meets that were happening because the space was so overtaken. Oh, ho, ho, ho. The Pike alt art. Okay, that's a kind of a cool thing to get. I like that a lot. The alt arts always look so good. I always feel like alt arts are undervalued because they are actually somewhat pretty rare. So you could only get this in Gen Con. I believe that it was worth about $60 is what they were selling it for at the booth. And now if you go online, TCG Player says that the best price you're going to get on them is $500. That is not true. You can go on eBay where I see them selling for $220 to $250. It's probably going up right now as people are learning more about the product and wanting to get more of them. But I think what has happened is there's been a bit of a buyout on TCG Player. The other thing that has happened is that these promos are actively selling for a decent amount. So the Lilia is selling for $95 right now. The Ivern is selling for Greenfather Ivern selling for $70. Again, that's TCG Player like confirmed sales. There might be some sort of buyout happening there. I did not go in and look at what they're selling for on eBay, but you can go take a look. And it does kind of make sense to me that people might want some premium versions of these, and maybe they like them more than the overnumbers. But if you count the Unleash boosters as $21, you count the sleeves as maybe like $5 each, so maybe they're like $10, so we're up to $31 now. And then, each of these is about, $80 on average, so it's about $160. You can understand how they're selling for over $200. And in fact, the Ultrasoft Poro is a nice little thing that pushes it over it, and the tokens are nice. So I think that given where the market is at right now, $200 for one of these boxes, it's I hate to say it, but it is quote unquote worth it if you value these cards at the rates that they're selling for right now. Now, all that to say, this is going to become more available in the future as they become sold at other events. They've said that they're going to be available at future events. I believe the RQ in Los Angeles and Convergence Fest and all that stuff will probably have them. I think they've made some official announcements. You can check it out on which events they're going to be available for. But they were not a Gen Con exclusive. So anybody who's trying to say like Gen Con exclusive, or you see that as a listing on eBay, do not believe it. These will come out again in the future, and probably, who knows with how fast Riftbound is becoming popular, probably this will fall in pricing. I do think that there's going to be some pressure on them because of the T1 product coming out, and people are going to be saying, oh, well, Riftbound and League of Legends players want these like premium, cool, collectible products, and so maybe that'll make it go up. This very cute cat, by the way, here. And we'll see them go up potentially, but just know that it's not a one-and-done thing. You could get these outside of that. So I think that it's certainly worth it at $60. If you go to an event and you're trying to decide if you should buy one of these, I personally will be buying them at $60, as many as they will allow me to purchase at these, because I think they're really cool. I think they make great gifts for people, and I think that the cards in them have some value. The 3 booster packs come out pretty well, and so I like it at $60. Once you get to $200, you need to decide whether or not that is something like, are you going to use all these cards? Are they cards that you need to have in your collection? Are you patient enough to wait for them to come down if they do? And are you willing to chill if they don't? If they end up going up and you're like, hey, I don't want to buy these for $200 or more, you got to make that decision yourself. Right? We'll probably do more of these in the future, and we'll have to see what those end up looking like. We're going to end the stream with opening some stuff on PAX.com. In fact, we're only going to open one of these because last week we released the Riftbound Rundown Unleashed pack. This pack comes out to about $37, but it is a single pull that has basically a ton of the really high in demand cards from Unleashed. This completes having our Riftbound Rundown series. So we'll see what it gets. If you do want to use the site, you can go use the link in the description. Oh, that's so funny. I actually can't open this one because I don't have enough coins on the site. Through the magic of an edit, we have now coins added to my account. Thank you to PAX.com for adding these. We're going to see what I get. Is it going to be anything exciting that will beat out what I opened, which I think was probably the alt art? Well, we got an overnumbered Kha'Zix. Which is pretty cool. Big fan of it. This pack, okay, you have a 2% chance of getting this card. So, congrats to me on the Kha'Zix Void overnumbered. We can go in here. You can look at my history, by the way, if you want to see where we're at on how we're doing. This account is doing very well. It's very funny. Yeah. Very, very good. We're doing really well on this account. It is very funny. All right. Thank you so much to PAX.com for sponsoring this video. Hope you all enjoyed the Secret Garden unboxing, and we'll see you next time.